I had a rather fascinating conversation with somebody this weekend, and I had to share. So it was a discussion about alcohol consumption. So somebody said that they liked a certain type of drink that they could get at the party store. And they didn't want to go to the same party store so often because they didn't want to feel judgment from the clerk as to how much alcohol they drank. So they made sure they went to several different party stores in order to get that same drink so they didn't face judgment. Now, I just welcome you to that because I really, really wanted to say, well, how do you feel about how much alcohol are you drinking? I could tell that it was self judgment, but I didn't really know, I didn't think it was an appropriate time to ask the question. But I just remember when I was pregnant with my first child, I craved ice cream and fast food. Oh, and I would go every day. And in order to avoid, I guess, feelings of shame, even though I was feeling them because I wouldn't have done this, I went to two different ice cream places in the same day sometimes. I didn't have other children and I wasn't working at the time. So I had a little bit of time. Of course, I didn't even tell my husband. And one day, as I'm waddling out of there, feeling so out of control with my life because my body was just crazy big, um, the person behind the desk said, "See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow." I, I was mortified, mortified. I never went back. Of course, I found another ice cream place to go to, and I found drive-through windows so that I didn't have to face what? Take a breath. Be there with me. I think we all can identify with something to that degree. I felt so detached with my feelings about myself that all I could worry about was what somebody else was thinking about me. I didn't do it consciously at all. And I think that's the problem. I think we walk through life so unconscious of our own behaviors and like we're just in la la land. And not to be over analytical, but we have to be aware. We have to be aware of what we're doing. We have to be able to laugh at ourselves a little bit and go, "Ooh, where's that coming from? And how is that serving me?" So I just welcome you to the beautiful world of you. When I look at how I felt about the ice cream shame, I know that I shouldn't have wanted ice cream more than once a day. I know that I shouldn't have had it, but I kind of gave myself carte blanche because I was pregnant and I was out of control. So I think sometimes we do things and we'll look at someone else and giggle about that or say, "Oh, look at them." But then we do it. We do it. We do it. We all do it. And I think the things we judge people about the most are the things that we've done in the past that we haven't owned. We don't have to own it to somebody else. But if we don't own it to ourselves, we do walk around in a fog. We have no clue what's going on in our inner world. It's almost like two different people. We're watching ourselves, or just not. We just are oblivious to what's happening in our lives. I welcome you to the presence of you, not to shame, not to judge, but just to be aware and to just know yourself. I just thought that was so fascinating about the alcoholic drink, and they wanted one flavor and but they didn't want to ask, so then they would go somewhere else. They would even drive extra far. Now, I'm not laughing if this person has an issue with alcohol consumption, but it's just the whole non-awareness and non-owning. And like I said, no one needs to own it to me. That isn't my business, but I think we do that a lot in life. So just being aware, if we sit quietly for a few minutes several times a day just to get to know ourselves and we write down things, Some of it we're go, wow, yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed about that, but it is us. Like there's no denying that part of us. So I think we try to hide that part of us with accomplishments or, oh, if I look extra good today or if I buy extra fruit, then I don't feel so bad about all the junk I ate when no one was looking. I don't know, but just be curious. And I think it'll soften how you look at everyone else in the world because we're all doing the same things in different ways to different degrees and all based on where we started from. So, my name is Jill Naraki. This is The Powers in the Exhale. Thank you so much for just being curious enough to watch this and to be interested and be curious about yourself because we're pretty fascinating and not in a narcissistic type way, but like the things that we do, but then we try to look at somebody else for doing the same thing. It's quite ridiculous. I'm trying to think of another example that I just witnessed or thought of today. I think it was a Facebook post about voting. People are like, shame on you. The polls were empty when I went today. Um, we need to vote. We need to exercise this right. Everybody needs to step up. And I just kind of giggled and I said, wow, that person's passion is so admirable. However, they're looking at a snapshot. They're looking at one moment for how many minutes they were at the poll at a certain time when the polls are open from what, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they're judging an entire district on that moment. And I think we have the tendency to do that. And what's that about? Is it fear? Is it some feeling of injustice that I'm here voting, everyone else should be voting? What if the people that wanted to vote voted in the opposite direction? Would they still want them all to show up? I just welcome you to just be curious about how we roll. Where are we coming up with these things in our minds? And why? And why does it matter so much? And how can you see one moment? So I have been on this earth 55 years. Anyone could see a different snapshot moment of me and come up with a totally different assumption as to who I am. Not one of those people would be me. Not one. They would be all parts. We're a mosaic. We're a mosaic of experiences on this earth. And we have the choice of how we roll, how we go through this world, what wake we leave behind us. It can be carnage in the form of just crappy energy, or it could be wonderful because we are aware. So take a breath with me. Just sit with yourself, even in the ugly, because I'm telling you what, if you look behind me, there's nature. I think there's a statue back there too, of some sort. But it's not all pretty. There's brown spots, and the trees don't try to hide it. Um, and why do we? Why do we think no one has it? We all have it. The more we know about ourselves, the more awareness we have, the softer we are, and the better the world around us is. I just believe that to my toes, and I'd love to share that with you. And I'd love to hear anybody else's observations on these things. If they can take a breath and try to see somebody else's actions as like a movie playing in front of them instead of internalizing it. I think we have such a hard time regulating our own emotions and because we don't understand them, we don't even know them. I wasn't raised to understand my emotions. I just knew to put a smile on my face when I walked out that house. That's it. And the awareness of our emotions and taking a pause is incredible. It's an incredible tool to use in this world. I just welcome you to the beautiful world of you. I hope you are curious enough to explore it with me because it's fascinating and it's fun. And we take ourselves way too seriously sometimes. And we look at ourselves with such judgment at times. that the judgment that comes out of our mouth to someone else, I think it's amplified inside us. And you know what? Those words of judgment don't come from within. It comes from things that we grew up with. People that we loved put their fears on us. We picked them up when we carried them. So I invite you to shed some of those. But in order to shed anything, you have to be aware. In order to embrace more and to cultivate more, you have to be aware. Just learn you, because you are worth it. And you on this earth is such a gift if you are authentically you. Thank you. And I hope you join me.